Right. Ever since October the 7th, the attack on Israel and Israel's incursion into Gaza, invasion of Gaza, the key person they've wanted to kill has been the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, and he died yesterday. So that's him with a child and a weapon some 10 years ago. He was the leader. They thought he was underground. This is drone footage. This is remarkable. They fly this drone into a building that's been hit by a tank shell. And it's actually trainee soldiers who called in the tank fire. And they're trying to work out who and what they've hit. And they see, can you see the armchair in the middle of the shot now? And then somebody's right arm in a pale shirt. That is a dead body. That is Yahya Sinwar. So, is it over then, Yasmin?
Of course not. Of course not. And I just want to say something here. If, and I'm not suggesting this should happen, if Hezbollah had done this to Netanyahu, would you show this image of a man who has just been killed in the way we've done it? Would these be the front pages? Okay? Extrajudicial killing are always wrong. I remember being...
You see Yahya Sinwar as the same as Netanyahu in terms of morality?
I do say that. I do say that.
One's elected.
No, I do say that. Because what Netanyahu has done, both to the world, to that area, the territory, the region, and to Israel, really, to me it's an equivalence. But also, I remember feeling just as enraged when Obama ordered the extrajudicial killing of Osama bin Laden.
Oh, really?
I was very angry. And I think that was wrong and unforgivable.
And his two sons as well. What do you think, Albie?
Look, I think that the finding and killing of Yahya Sinwar has got to be a good thing. The question is it going to stop the awful atrocities that we are seeing in Israel and Gaza and now also in Lebanon? That's got to be the question. You know, if reports are to be believed, Yahya Sinwar is the person who masterminded the October the 7th attacks that sort of begun this latest skirmish between Israel and Gaza, but of course it's been going on for much longer than that. So the death of the person who masterminded that awful terrorist attack has got to be seen as a good thing. I just hope going forward we start to see a return of the hostages and an end to the awful plight of the Gazans.
And interesting, I'm told that in the footage we just showed, he may not have been dead. He died on the run, shortly afterwards or whatever. But he was hit.
And the other thing to remember, is that they kept telling us, Netanyahu and his cronies kept telling us that they were bombing and shelling hospitals because these guys were sheltering under there. Turns out, according to this news report, that he was in some, it says that's what they assumed, but he was in some place they hadn't even looked.
Well, above ground, second floor, third floor, something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're the parent of a hostage, does this make it more likely you get your son, daughter home safely? I'm not sure it does, because there'll be so much more anger and hatred.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But what were Israel supposed to do when they found the person that masterminded the October the 7th attack?
If this had happened on day one, we might not have seen the carnage we've seen since then. Yasmin, right? That might be why
I no longer believe, and nor do many of the families of the hostages believe that Netanyahu cares at all about the hostages. There is now an increasing resistance. If you read the Israeli papers, they are so much better than ours, actually, in the honesty in which they cover these stories.
The Israeli papers?
Israeli papers.
So the Israeli papers
is one of the best papers to read at this time.
Okay, so they say, do they, that Netanyahu quietly doesn't want all the hostages back because then he's got no reason to go in? Is that what they say?
They're saying families no longer believe that the hostages are what are driving.
It is we can all agree it is a nightmare, and it's a nightmare for the world. And to see Iran throw 180 ballistic missiles directly into Israel, and all of them knocked out by their Iron Dome. We don't have an Iron Dome here, do we? I don't think.
Well, and what about what Israel's doing in Lebanon?
Oh, listen, I'm just listing the chaos.
I'm sorry, we cannot anymore find excuses to say Israel's defending itself.
Yeah, but isn't it?
It's not.
If we go back to October the 7th or October the 6th, wouldn't it be? This guy has brought it on, hasn't he?
I'm sorry.
I mean, if you
no,
kill
you're not going to get me
1,200
to do
people.
this. The story doesn't begin on October the 7th.
We know that.
Yeah, no, we don't, because we keep saying it. There's a wonderful lecture Arundhati Roy gave this week. She won the Pinter Prize. And it was the most beautiful speech. And I would really suggest you read it about what the people of Palestine have been going through, locked between Hamas on the one hand and the Israeli IDF.
I completely agree. I mean, in the sense that if you're a 15-year-old child, you've got nothing to do with terrorism, or a 10-year-old, you've got nothing to do with those paragliders, and you've got no reason to be punished by what comes back in the other direction. Okay. Oh, my God, what a horrible world sometimes.